All right, let's talk about negotiation. We're going to dive into a really powerful framework that came out of Harvard. And trust me, you're going to want to forget everything you think you know about winning and losing, because we're about to explore how to get what you want by completely changing the game.
You know, it's the first question that pops into our heads, isn't it? You're sitting there across the table from someone, and you can't help but wonder, am I getting the better deal here? Are they taking me for a ride? We're just so wired to see it as a fight.
But here's the kicker. According to the folks at Harvard, if that's the question you're asking, you're already starting on the wrong foot. I mean, this one idea completely flips the whole script on what negotiation is really about. It's not a battle.
So, okay, if it's not about winning, then what is it? It's about collaboration. It's about working together to solve a mutual problem. See, the goal isn't to beat the other person. The real goal is to find a solution that actually works for everyone's real needs.
This slide has 3 perfect little stories that show what I mean. Think about the library. One person wants the window open for fresh air, the other wants it closed to stop a draft. The lazy compromise? Open it halfway, so now they're both miserable. The creative solution? The librarian just opens a window in the next room. Fresh air, no draft. Problem solved. Or my favorite, the orange. 2 kids both want it. Instead of just cutting it in half, what if they talked? They'd find out one wants the fruit to eat and the other wants the peel to bake a cake. They could have both gotten 100% of what they actually wanted.
So you see, just splitting the difference down the middle, that's often the worst answer. The real mission here is to dig a little deeper and find that elegant, creative solution that makes everyone walk away happy. The question is, how do you actually do that?
Well, luckily for us, there's a system. The Harvard Negotiation Project broke it all down into 4 key principles. Think of them as your toolkit for pretty much any negotiation you're ever going to face.
Okay, so here's the roadmap. It's 4 simple steps. First, focus on interests, not the positions people take. Second, you want to use fair, objective standards. Third, get creative and invent options where everyone gains something. And fourth, and this is a big one, you have to separate the people from the problem. Now let's break each of those down.
All right, this first one, it's the absolute game changer. A position is what somebody says they want. I want that window closed. An interest is why they want it. I don't want a draft because my papers will blow away. To get to the interest, you just have to ask that simple question, why? And here's a little pro tip for you. Try to understand their interest before you explain yours. People are just so much more willing to listen once they feel like they've actually been heard.
So what do you do when your interests seem to be in a total head-to-head conflict? Well, instead of making it a battle of who can be more stubborn, you agree on some kind of objective, fair standard. Think about buying a used car. Instead of just throwing numbers back and forth, you could both agree to use, say, the Kelley Blue Book value as a neutral starting point. See what that does? It totally transforms the fight from you versus me into us trying to solve this problem together.
Now we get to the fun part, the creative part. You get together with the other person and just brainstorm. The number 1 rule here is you do not judge any of the ideas at first. Just let them fly. You separate the act of inventing from the act of deciding. And what's really cool is that sometimes your differences are where the best solutions are hiding. Remember the orange? The kids wanted different parts of it. Their difference was the key to the perfect outcome.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important mindset shift. You have to separate the person from the problem. Be soft on the person. That means being respectful, listening to them, showing you understand their point of view. But be hard on the problem. Be relentless in your shared search for a fair, wise solution. They aren't your enemy. They're your partner in cracking this nut.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. This all sounds wonderful in theory, but what if the other person is a total jerk? What if they don't play by these nice rules? It's a fair question. So let's get right into that.
Sometimes people try to use pressure tactics, like the whole good cop, bad cop routine. The first step is simple. Just recognize it for what it is. Then you can call it out, but do it calmly. You could say something like, it kind of feels like you two are playing good cop, bad cop here. Can we just talk directly about the issue itself? Just naming the tactic usually sucks all the power out of it and brings the focus right back to the principles.
And what if they get personal? If they attack you? Your gut reaction is to push back, right? To defend yourself. Don't. You're going to use what the authors call negotiation jujitsu. Don't resist their force, redirect it. Instead of defending your idea, ask them what's wrong with it. Look behind their attack to figure out what their real interest is. You can even ask for their advice.
Honestly, what would you do if you were in my shoes? It completely disarms them and turns a personal attack into a productive conversation.
But this is the big one, isn't it? What do you do when the other side just seems to hold all the cards? They have more money, more authority, more options. It can feel like you have no choice but to just give in. But listen, you have way more power than you think. And that power comes from one of the most crucial concepts in all of negotiation, your BATNA.
So what on earth is a BATNA? It stands for the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. To put it simply, it's your best walkaway option. It's the best plan you have in your back pocket if you fail to reach a deal.
So how does this give you power? Let's take a salary negotiation. If you go in there with no other job offers, you're pretty weak, right? You kind of have to take what they give you. But what if you walk into that same room with 2 other fantastic job offers in hand? That's a strong BATNA. All of a sudden, you have incredible power because you're not afraid to walk away from a bad deal. The stronger your BATNA, the more power you have, period.
And all of this brings us right back to where we started, with this one last story. An American father and his son are in a London park, way back in the 60s, and they're tossing a frisbee. Almost nobody in England had ever seen one. A little crowd gathers to watch, and after about 15 minutes, a man walks up to the father and asks, "Excuse me, I've been watching you for a while. Who's winning?"
And that question, that just perfectly captures the wrong way to look at all of this. You don't win at throwing a frisbee. The goal is to work together to keep it in the air. And you don't win at negotiation. It's not a contest. It's a shared, collaborative effort to find a solution that works for both of you.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, could be with your boss, your partner, a car salesman, doesn't matter. What are you going to do? Are you going to dig in on your position and just try to split the difference? Or are you going to search for those underlying interests and try to find a truly creative solution?